Hi everyone, my name's Brian, and what you see before you here is the modern meta. So, why am I starting with this as opposed to the deck I'm playing today? That's because I'm going over a deck today that really kind of sneaks up on the meta. It can never really become tier 1 or tier 0, or really more than tier 2, because it's so easily hated out of the format. And that, of course, is Modern Dredge. But before I decide to ever take Modern Dredge through a league or even play it in any sort of tournament where there are prizes on the line, you want to stop and see who are the big dogs in Modern. The more graveyard decks that there are just kind of floating around, the more hate that there's going to be for your deck. And Dredge is really all in on the graveyard plan. Now, with Death Shadow sitting at, in my opinion, a problematic 11% of the meta, chances are people are going to have a little bit of graveyard hate, but not quite in the Hogak days. So, now that we know that the meta might just let us sneak through a few wins in Modern, what are we looking at for the deck? Well, here is my Dredge deck. You guys might be familiar with it if you saw my first video on it, but just to kind of go over, this is actually a pretty stock Dredge list. There are other Dredge lists floating around, and stay tuned for after Kamigawa comes out when Boseju's up and around, but this is the one that I have found the most success with as of late. Probably because it's pretty glass cannony and it's really, really fast. So, not too much to go over. 18 lands, no basics, 8 1-drops, 4 Otherworldly Gaze, 4 Dark Blasts, 4 Narcomoebas, 4 Golgari Thugs, 4 Cathartic Reunion, 4 Thrilling Discoveries. 3 Silver Smoke Ghoul, 4 Stinkweed Imp, 4 Prized Amalgam, 4 Creeping Chill, 2 Ox of Agonis, and 1 Conflagrate. And to kind of give you a really quick deck tech on it, what we're trying to do here is get these cards which dredge in the graveyard. We never really want to cast any of these cards, and all they say is, rather than draw a card at the beginning of our draw step, we can take one of these cards with Dredge, put it into our hand, and take the number of cards after the words Dredge on the card and just flip them over right into the graveyard. That allows us to get Narcomoebas immediately into play, which trigger Prized Amalgam because they went from the graveyard to the battlefield. That allows us to get Creeping Chills, which deal 3 damage to our opponent, and we gain 3 life, thus getting Silver Smoke Ghouls into play from the graveyard, again triggering Prized Amalgam. And finally, this deck is really just shoving as much as it humanly can into the bin to try and use Ox of Agonis to do it over and over again and just beat your opponent down, with 1 Conflagrate in there to either wrap the board or deal just the final few bit of damage in on your opponent. Otherworldly Gaze replacing things like Shriekhorn and Merchant of something. Is it Merchant of the Veil? I don't think it is. Anyway, but it allows you to take a peek at the top of your library and even keep some one-landers. Normally with Dredge, you don't want to keep one-landers, but with Otherworldly Gaze, you can kind of get away with it. Again, very stock list. 8 red cards that allow you to pitch things into the graveyard and draw immediately, which is what Ox of Agonis does as well. And again, we're just going to throw everything in the graveyard, try and pull everything out of the graveyard, and kill our opponents with it. That does mean we need no graveyard hate. Speaking of hate and things like that, let's go ahead and look at the sideboard. So here's really where you see different people's opinion of Dredge at this exact moment. Again, when Kamigawa comes out, I know we're going to see a little bit more variety in the Dredge decks. But for right now, 2 Ley Lines of Sanctity to stop people from picking apart your hand with hate, as well as just telling Belcher to go away, or even stopping burn enough so that you can kill it. 2 Ley Line of the Voids. I go with 2, some people go with 1. I feel like having 1 ley line is a fancy way of saying you're not going to get ley line, but having 2 gives you some chance of getting it if you go up against something that's also doing graveyard shenanigans and you need Theria Graveyard to go away. More so against combo things as opposed to just general value decks. You don't want to bring this in against Jund. It doesn't really stop Tarmogoyf. 3 Prismatic Endings, which are taking the place of the former 3 and or 4 Nature's Claims. These can get rid of things that have pro-black and pro-red, i.e. Sanctifier Envect. 2 Thought Seizes to go up against combo and/or control, just get things out of their hand. 3 Ancient Grudge to take care of artifacts, both hate pieces and non-hate pieces. And finally, 3 Gemstone Caverns, so that when you go game 2, you can hopefully play one of these red cards turn 1, or even play an Otherworldly Gaze turn 0. I have gotten to do that a few times. It does seem good, But again, it's a lot of luck. And truth be told, this deck here involves a lot of luck, but it also involves the meta to not really be playing a ton of graveyard hate. So every now and then I vibe check Modern and see if anyone is playing graveyard hate. So let's go ahead and hop into a league and see if playing Dredge is just taking 10 ticks at a time and feeding it into a shredder, or if it's a sneaky way to pick up a few wins and have some fun. Let's see what happens. All right, and we have found our first match against Zib. Don't know who you are, Zib, but good luck to you playing a Kahira. So this is probably the 2-mana control. Let's see, we have 2 red cards, 3 dredgers, but only 1 land. Now, in older versions of Dredge, we'd have to throw this back because you absolutely need 2 lands. But in this version of Dredge, we have Otherworldly Gaze, which hopefully will allow us to find our land. Be polite to our opponent, and then we'll chat out of the way. Opponent plays Hinterland Harbor. Yeah, this could be a lot of things. It could even be like a Violent Outburst deck. I have a stop on my upkeep because you generally have to do a lot of things on upkeep. Okay, a Gemstone Mine. That's exactly what we wanted. We'll play out Mana Confluence. In fact, we'll even play Otherworldly Gaze now because they're going to have counters starting next turn. All of these go into the bin, and we yield through the turn. So hopefully next turn they don't counter our red card. But that being said, when you're up against things like Control, you should probably play Cathartic Reunion as opposed to Thrilling Discovery. The reason for that is they can still counter Cathartic Reunion, but it won't stop the cards from going into the graveyard. So we have a Thug, so we can dredge that. Nothing really happened there, which isn't a problem. Play out Gemstone Mine. Now, we only get 3 bites at the apple with Gemstone Mine here, but the good news is we're either going to win by the time Gemstone Mine goes to the bin, or we're going to lose to Control. So this will probably get countered. Yeah, unsurprising, but the dredgers are already in the yard, so no problem from us. We'll go ahead and pass back to the opponent, see what they do. Opponent plays a Catch a Triome and passes, which leads me to believe they have yet another counterspell. So we'll go ahead and just draw. I don't think we want to do anything on upkeep. We have imps, so we can dredge an imp. See, the unfortunate thing is we have so much going on here, nothing's happening. So we have 2 options. We can try and Ox. And let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We'd be having to get rid of 1 good card to play Ox, which will probably get countered. Or we can play Thrilling Discovery, and that'll kind of be the final card to make Ox good next turn. So we'll Thrilling Discovery. Again, this will probably get countered because they left 2 mana up. Oh, no, it went through. So we'll go ahead and drop Stinkweed Imp and Golgari Thug, and we'll get to draw 3. So Imp, Imp. We are on dead here, folks. Imp. 1 lone creeping chill. Oh boy. That should get our Silver Smoke Ghouls on the battlefield, though, as seen here, which means our Prized Amalgams will come in at their end step. They can just Wrath here at this point, or they could Violent Outburst, and we'll have to deal with Rhinos and stuff. I'm not 1,000% sure what they're doing. We also don't have Chalice of the Void in our sideboard, so it's not like we could stop a Cascade spell anyway. Looks like our opponent has untapped and is just trying to figure out what to do at this point. There's a million things that could happen here. They could... This has red, right? Yeah, they could fire the Silver Smotes down. They could Wrath somehow. They could just scoop because we had a pretty explosive start. The fact that they didn't have the second counter spell, a lot of you guys who watch multiple of my videos know I tend to live by a make them have it kind of scenario. But now we got to have our Cake and Eat It too, because we had our Thrilling Discovery, and next turn we'll be able to play our Ox of Agonis. So it looks like they're going to ping down 1 of the Silver Smoke Ghouls, which is fine, because we're going to get like 3 Prized Amalgams. Oh, they trigger roughly 1 million times, though. All right, so turn 5 for us, roughly 1 million creatures. I don't think we want to do anything on our upkeep. We'll go ahead and draw. And by that, I mean we'll put a Thug in our hand. Jeez, where are our 3 spells? So I think what we do first is we attack. So 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. I think we just swing in, just ignore Ren for now, see what they do. So they're down to 2. We can try an Ox, and at this point, if Ox goes off, we're more or less guaranteed a win because we'll find the Creeping Chills. I mean, if they have the counter, they have the counter. We really only get one go at this is the thing. So I think we want to conflagrate, because that'll get everything in the yard regardless. So we'll go ahead and conflagrate for 5. Cool. We'll let our land hit the bin. And again, even if they counter the spells, we're getting all of our dredgers back in the yard. And this is game 1, so they're probably not going to have a ton of hate. Oh, nope. That just happened to be the game. So that's a quick and easy game 1. Anybody who plays Dredge, though, knows that game 1 is the easy one, and we're now going on to game 2. So we'll go ahead and, on a screen you can't see, go ahead and take a peek at MTG Goldfish here. I don't believe this is the Crashing Footfalls deck we're up against. Taking a peek at their land there. No, it's not that. There has been a deck I've been seeing around that wasn't quite Crashing Footfalls that was this color, though. If I can find it. It was in one of the modern leagues that kind of went off as of late. I can't seem to find it at the time, but we'll just go ahead that they're going to have a bit of hate. But first things first, because we're going to be playing second, we'll bring in the Gemstone Mines, or Gemstone Caverns, rather. I tend to take out 2 Blackcleat Cliffs and 1 Inspiring Vantage for that. And now we know they're going to have hate. It's just trying to guess what that hate's going to be. So, Prismatic Ending can really take out anything. It's just, if they're going to be playing artifacts, do you really want Prismatic Endings? Because grudges can do stuff in the yard. We don't know what we're up against here, though. So I do think the safe thing to do is to grab the 3 endings. Dark Blasts probably aren't going to do us a ton of favors, so we can take 3 of those out. We still have 9 dredgers, which is probably fine, and we'll run it like that. Okay, no land, easy mull. No red card, we can go ahead and mull again. Okay, so we have to put 2 back, which is kind of easy. That's just the Narcomoeba, and I believe the Prized Amalgam. So while we don't have a second land, we do have 2 otherworldly gazes, so we do have a couple chances to find one. Our opponent just played a land and passed, and now we go ahead and draw a Spirebluff Canal. That's even better. We're going to shoot this off now, though, only because, again, our opponent is playing Counterspell. All of these go into the bin. Those don't do us any help now that we have our second land. Our opponent finds the Ketra Triome on our end step, untaps and starts their turn, plays a Scalding Tarn, yeets that immediately into the bin, plays a Steam Vent untapped, looking like, yep, are they just going to pass? No, they're going to play out a Wrenn N6. Okay, so that gives them a clock. This Teamer Wreck. This might be Teamer Wreck. Okay, so they're tapped out, which leads me to believe we should Cathartic rather than Otherworldly Gaze on our upkeep. So we'll go to draw. Hopefully we don't draw a free spell. Okay, deck. I get the joke, but that doesn't really change what we're doing here. So Cathartic Reunion, discarding Dark Blast and the Narcomoeba. Come on, Dark Blast, find more dredgers. Didn't find any dredgers. Please don't find 2 more free spells. I hate you, deck. I hate you with every fiber of my being. So that hurt. That hurt a lot, and I don't think they're going to play a creature we can Dark Blast. So we're in a bit of a spot. We did draw into a Prismatic Ending, though, so if they play some kind of hate, especially now that we have a Rainbow land, we can get rid of most pieces of Graveyard Hate, unless they just cast a Leyline of the Void, but I don't think they're going to be able to do that with their land. Worst thing they can do right now is Cascade, although I'm beginning to think this is the Teamer Wreck deck. Okay, so on our upkeep, we do want to Otherworldly Gaze. I think we want to do the one from the bin, though. This way, if we find something up top, we can use the one in our hand. Okay, so we found everything we wanted to pitch into the bin, which is great. And now we get a draw, and by that, I mean we'll put Sinking Imp into our hand. 1 Creeping Chill after drawing all the Narcomoebas. Okay, so this gives us a clock. I do think our opponent is going to play Reclamation, though, on their turn and just start, casting giant sharks or something. It does give us something to Dark Blast. I think we're kind of beyond that at this point, though. I think we are just casting Otherworldly Gaze from our hand and trying to set up either an Ox or another red card. Opponent is thinking about something to do on our end step. If they have a Fair Macabre or something. Oh, nope, they just fire down our little ghoul, which is fine. So our opponent untaps. I guess they're on the Wrenn N6 plan? Yep, nope, they just found another land. So here comes Reclamation? Okay, so it is Wilderness Wreck. Okay, So I think we want to otherworldly gaze from our hand this time, because we want to try and find a red card. So if we otherworldly gaze, no lands though. The Thug might help. There's only 2 Narcomoebas though, so I don't know how much luck we're going to have with that. We'll go to our draw step, pull the Thug out of the bin. Didn't find Diddly. That does mean, however, though, that we'll get to... We can try an Ox next turn, or we can just Prismatic Ending the Wren. I don't think we're going to get enough lands to get rid of the Wilderness Wreck, just kind of natural, but we'll go ahead, and I think just a 2. Are they gonna ice down one of our dudes, which is fine. So we'll attack our opponent. They're gonna bolt our guy. We're going to go ahead and yield through their turn. Next turn, we have to decide if Wren's going to be a major problem, because they do have the Lightning Bolt, so they can just keep bolting us over and over and over again. There's Deluge, so they can find a counter. I guess we do get to Dredge, and then we have to make the decision. Because chances are they'll have the counter, and they'll just kill us, you know, discarding lands a million times and bolting us to death. Or they could just make a giant shark, or there's a million things they can do at this point. We're not exactly in the best spot. This is just a big shark. This is just an Archmage Charm to draw more cards. This looks like a shark. They cycled a Triome and kept 3 lands up. I don't think we do anything on our upkeep. Is Thug our biggest thing? Thug's our only thing. Okay, so we really need to find some Creeping Chills. Didn't find Diddly. There is another Thug in there, though. So I think we start by attacking and seeing where we want to go with this. As much as I'd love to attack Wren, I think we have to aim at our opponent and see if they do anything. Shark Typhoon for 1, so they block the Prized Amalgam, but that does mean the door's open. So we do get to Ox now. And actually, we can either Ox or we could kill Wren in 6. I think because they have a full grip, we're not going to get another chance to Ox, and we should try that. See, let's get rid of 8 cards. Things that don't matter. And we just kind of hope we go off something fierce here. All right, so we want to go for the big guys. So Imp. Didn't find another Imp, though. How about Thug? Still didn't find another Imp. Thug again? So out of all of that, we found 2 Chills, which does put him at a low life total, and we do get to vomit some creatures onto the field, which is nice. Okay, the onus is on our opponent. He has to Wrath the board somehow, which, I mean, there's ways to do. There can just be a simple Anger of the Gods. Oh, am I a Mighty Wizard? I need to stop saying stuff out loud. Okay, so we get angered. There go our creatures. Let's do a count here. So, yeah, that's fine. Oh, they didn't emblem. 1 Creeping Chill, 2 Creeping Chill, 3 Creeping Chill. Okay, so we still have 1 Creeping Chill in the deck, and then we have to find a way to kind of get over the hump here. I do think their hand is full of counters, though, which is probably not great. They have untapped all their land. They have 3 floating. Please just make a giant shark. Oh, no, they're just going to cycle a land. That is fine. Okay, so we try and find something helpful with the Imp. Well, there's a Narcomoeba, so things are going to enter the battlefield after this. I mean, I'm always in a make 'em have it kind of mood. So I think what we do here is we just Conflagrate for 4. Again, it gets everything in the bin. It's not like we're going to have a better time. We just try and see if they have it. And if they have it, it's fine. If they have another... Yep, there's the Force of Negation. Okay, the problem is all of our creatures are exiled, so I forgot that Narcomoeba is kind of on his own here. But we did have to try. Mage's Charm, yeah, their hand is just full of counters. All right, our opponent. Yep, they emblem now, which I feel like they should have done last turn. Was this just... Oh, okay, it's a Shark Typhoon now. So our opponent's in a pretty commanding spot. If they weren't so low on life, I'd probably just scoop. But we do have the 1 Creeping Chill still. Don't think we do anything in our upkeep. I think we just... Let's see. If we Dredge Imp, there's only 3 cards left in the deck. So then if we Ox, which won't happen anyway... So we kind of need... I think we do Stinkweed Imp, and then we try and Ox after attacking. So we found the Creeping Chill. Well, they're now off of fetch lands. Unfortunately, I think their hand is just a million ways to murder us. We did get them real close, though, guys. This is a close one. Yep, here's the thing where they just start making sharks. Okay, so we can't Ox anymore. We don't have any direct damage. Silver Smoke Ghoul is coming out of the bin, though. And I suppose we can Otherworldly Gaze when they're tapped out on their Wilderness Wreck trigger to try and stack our deck to see if there's anything in our deck that can kind of get us over the edge. Because they do have a blocker right now, which is not great. All right, they're surprisingly still kind of floating around. If they just bolt Ghoul, that's probably the end. Yeah, they're making sharks on top of that. We do just have to wait until they tap out, and then we can see if there's anything that can save us. I don't think so, but we can take a check with Otherworldly just to be sure. So our opponent is just going to town now that the Wrenn and 6 got to go off. So this is literally our only chance. Okay. Narcomoeba, Cathartic Reunion. Nope. There's no way to win from here. Okay, guys, so we're going to game 3. Wilderness Wreck, you say? So the endings don't really do a ton now, do they? The Thought Seizes will, though. And I guess that means we can keep one prismatic ending. We want to take the Gemstone Caverns out, because they don't actually do anything when we're on the play. So now our little fast lands become better. And I think that's all we want to do at the moment. Leyline of the Void isn't really going to do anything, because we should win before Wrenn goes off. Leyline of Sanctity isn't really going to do anything. But let's go ahead and try it like this. Hopefully being on the play just makes us fast enough that we can kind of, pow. Yes, I would love to play first. No card to pitch things into the graveyard, so we'll go ahead and mull. Opponent keeps 7. We have a whole bunch of draw 3s, but no Dredger. So we'll go back to the well one more time. Okay, this can work. So we'll put back Narcomoeba. Everyone remember that's on the bottom. I think we also put back Prismatic Ending, because we can't even cast that right now. And we turn 1 Otherworldly, and hopefully we find a land in our top 3. Nope. Okay, so that's not a bad backup plan, but I definitely want a second land. Our opponent plays land, probably just pass, yeah. So I don't think we dredge. I think we hope there's a land on top of our deck. Don't punish me. Oh, no. Okay, so I think that means next turn we have to start dredging. I don't think we can just sit here and do nothing now that they have the ability to counter us, but that's the breaks when you do that. Oh, no, they're going to have Wrenn and 6, so does that mean we try again? This is why you don't keep a one-lander, guys. Because if we find another land, Thrilling Discovery really goes off exactly now. If we dredge, though, I think we have to try again. That feels so bad. So I think we've officially lost this game. We've spent too many turns literally doing nothing, which is unfortunate that there were no lands in our top 6 now. But them's the breaks, and that's what happens when you play Dredge. Now our opponent is full of counters, so we just need to start dredging. We've given them too much time, essentially. I guarantee you that the card on top of our deck is a land now, too. Alright. So we'll take Stinkweed Imp. Show me, 5 lands deck. Hurt me deck. The top of our deck was Cathartic Reunion. We didn't really do anything, though. Oh, man. Hey, remember when I say multiple times, don't keep a one-lander with Dredge, and then I do things like this, and I just get bodied? Oh, what are you doing? Our opponent taps our one land down, like we were going to do something with it. Yeah, we are in real bad shape, because now they play Wilderness Wreck. Come on, do it, I know you have it. Yep. And that's how you take a winnable game and make it an unwinnable one. Because in theory, we can just flip over a whole bunch of stuff and, punish them, but we would have had to have done that. We would have had to have given up on drawing a second land. We would have had to have just started dredging from the word jump. And we didn't do that. We tried to get greedy. There's some Creeping Chills. I don't think we have a Silver Smoke Ghoul in the bin, though. We don't. The thing is, though, we have so many lands now that... Or we have so many cards in our hand now that we're going to pick up Golgari Thug and discard Stinkweed Imp at the end of our turn. So now we're essentially playing Manaless Dredge. In a deck not designed to be Manaless Dredge. I don't think there's a way for us to kind of win, though. We have another 6 damage in instant damage, but we don't have any way of, landing the creatures on the field and just swinging immediately right now. Plus, our opponent has Castle Vantress, so now they get to make the top of their deck even better. Brutal. But you can't get angry at that. That was a decision that I made. I tried to find the lands when they weren't there. In fact, if you look at our bin, there's really only 2 lands in there, so there wasn't any lands to go around to begin with, which is just unlucky. Now, what fresh hell is our opponent doing? Nexus of Fate. Brutal. Oh, man. Ugh. That is a beating. So I think we can go ahead and say this one here is done. Let's see if our opponent actually does something, though, so I don't feel bad about scooping. Yep, there's the Shark Typhoon, and they untap everything. Okay, we get to pick up a Golgari Thug, which didn't find anything. Did find a 3rd land, which is now in our bin, though. We get to discard Stinkweed Imp. What are they doing? Praying Memory. Yeah, this game's over. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next one. So, Game 1 and Game 2 were good. Game 3, that's on me. Don't keep a 1-lander with Dredge. Brian, this is Gameplay Brian talking to Future Brian. Do not keep a 1-lander with Dredge. You will be sad. But yeah, as is tradition, I lose the first one. That one, though, wasn't because of Graveyard Hate. That was because of gameplay. But on that note, I think we'll go ahead and take a quick break and try one more. Okay. What has happened here is someone texted me at the start of this match down here that I won. So we are gonna have to do a replay or something so I can go through that, because I did the whole announcer thing and everything, but I did not record. So I'm going to look into how to do a replay, and I'll have to voice over it. But yeah, sorry guys, that one's on me. We did go 2-0, but boy, is that a amateur move to not record. And not only to not record, but not record the one where you beat somebody. So I'm going to look into that, and you're going to have to see a slightly janky replay. But sorry. This is going to be a replay, guys. I won the match, but I forgot to hit record. So let's just go through, and I'll talk you through kind of what happened. So our opponent won the die roll. They kind of go off. They played a monkey and passed. That actually allowed us to play our land and just Dark Blast it on our turn. From there, we waited until our opponent played something so that we could get Ragavan before they could dash in a second one. So they attempted to Thoughtseize. We Dark Blast in response. From there, Ragavan dies, and for reasons I don't quite understand, they decided to take Thrilling Discovery, they decided to take Creeping Chill instead of Thrilling Discovery, which is a little weird. In this situation, you definitely want to just take out our red cards. I understand we have 2 of them, but at the same time, Creeping Chill does nothing in my hand. It's a dead card. They play a Mountain and play Dragon Rage Channeler, which gives us another thing to Dark Blast. So on our turn, we dredge Dark Blast back to our hand and pretty much make the decision that we're going to Dark Blast rather than Thrilling Discovery. Our opponent untaps, plays a Blackcleave Cliffs, and plays a Liliana of the Veil, which actually I'm super happy to see. Liliana of the Veil pretty much just reads, hey, I get to discard things for free. I choose to discard the Gemstone Mine because I have another land in hand. We dredge the Golgari Thug, and at that point, we're able to play out our land so that we can have multiple lands rather than getting screwed. We do have to get rid of a Thrilling Discovery to do this, but this does allow us to pitch Golgari Thug and start the clown music and start dredging. At the end of this dredge, we found 2 Narcomoebas and a Creeping Chill, which means all of our stuff kind of comes back to the field, as seen here. Then our opponent, again, just plays out a land showing that they're Jund. Up until this point, I thought they were Rakdos. Plays out a Tarmogoyf to try and stem the bleeding, and very confusingly, activates Liliana of the Veil, allowing us to discard Stinkweed Imp, which, if you look at our graveyard here, we only had a Dark Blast, allowing us to dredge 2 more than we were going to. Again, seeing Liliana of the Veil across the table is great. So because our opponent was so nice to let us, we go ahead and dredge Stinkweed Imp out of the yard, finding a Creeping Chill, putting them even lower. From there, we figure it's just good enough to swing, And in this situation, our opponent should block the Silver Smoke Ghoul because we have an Ox of Agonis in our graveyard, and that means the Prized Amalgam is definitely coming back. Our opponent, however, chooses to block Prized Amalgam, which is good for us. Opponent drops to 3, at which point we cast Ox of Agonis, and we find the final Creeping Chill to win out this particular game. There it is, and then we go on to Game 2. Alright, so Game 2, our opponent, of course, gets to go first. We first get an unkeepable hand and switch over to this. This looks a lot keepable, so we go ahead and simply put a card to the bottom and see what our opponent does turn 1. They play out a Raging Ravine, which is probably the best thing that could happen for us. We go ahead and play out a Gemstone Mine and hope that they play Ragavan. Unfortunately for us, that wasn't exactly in the cards. They play Blood Crypt untapped and confusingly play Kroxa. Again, at this point in the game, I was rather confused as to why Kroxa was still there. It just gets us to put a Dredger in the turn on turn 2, essentially, for us. So we get to put Dark Blast in the yard and Dredge, courtesy of our opponent. Not for the first time this match. We go ahead and Dredge the Dark Blast, and now we have a Thrilling Discovery and a Cathartic Reunion. We decide to get rid of the Prismatic Ending in the Dark Blast because we kind of need to keep going. From there, we dredge 3 Dark Blasts, and not really a ton happens, so we pass back to our opponent, hoping they aren't able to really capitalize on the fact that we did nothing. They play a land and pass. We draw Leyline of Sanctity, which is really sad. We go ahead and play out another City of Brass, because pretty soon we're not going to have Gemstone Mine, and we cast Cathartic Reunion, discarding our 2 Dark Blasts. We put our 2 Dark Blasts to hand, but that's actually the end of our dredgers, so at that point, we have to just pull one off the top, which is Silver Smoke Ghoul, which is fine because next turn we're going to be able to Ox of Agonis anyway. We drain our opponent with a Creeping Chill, and we pass the turn. Now, during this time, they scare us by cracking their Verdant Catacombs and putting an Overgrown Tomb into play untapped. However, it was simply to Fatal Push one of our Narcomoebas, followed by terminating the other Narcomoeba. This allowed 2 Prize Amalgams to come into play, which I was kind of confused about, until they took their turn to Maelstrom Pulse us. However, because they have 1 card, and we essentially have 18 cards, because that's how many is in our graveyard, we just go ahead and draw, finding Thrilling Discovery, but deciding it's probably better to Ox anyway. After getting rid of most of the cards in our graveyard, we go ahead and cast Ox, take 1 off of City of Brass, which puts our 2 Prized Amalgams into the zone where things will happen, and we start just dredging our Dark Blasts. We deal them 6 off of Creeping Chills, put a whole bunch of guys into play, and pass the turn. Our opponent cascades into a Inquisition of Kozilek and concedes. This has been Brian forgetting to hit the record button and having to recreate the game for you. Hopefully he doesn't do that in the future. See you guys for an actual gameplay. Okay, and we're going to hit record this time before I hit join match. All right, we won the die roll. Look at that. All right, Magnus93, which leads me to believe you were born in 93. Let's see how we go here. 1 land, no keep. Playing Luris, so burn or something. Second bite at the apple looks a little bit better, so we'll go ahead and keep, and we will put the Cathartic Reunion back. Against the Luris deck, it's going to be either Shadow or Burn or something like that, so the life gain might be helpful. We'll play Mana Confluence, because that keeps our options open, whether to Dark Blast something or to Otherworldly Gaze. We'll go ahead and pass the turn. Let's see what our opponent does here. Opponent is taking their time, which leads me to believe they're currently Googling what in Modern plays Mana Confluence. Oh, there we go. Ooh, Flooded Strand. That could be a bad sign. Did we call this wrong? Hollowed Fountain. Oh, it's like a Hammer Time? So we can either Dark Blast now, kill that immediately. I think we Dark Blast that thing. We let them draw the card back, and that's fine. Because it does allow us to dredge 3, which is the same as Otherworldly Gazing anyway. So yeah, you get your card. Congratulations. But at least we made Esper Sentinel go away. So this is some sort of Azorius Hammer time. We'll go ahead and pick up the Dark Blast, hopefully finding a second Dredger. Nope, we find a Narcomoeba, which is fine, because we do get to play Black Cleave Cliffs, yellow, and red, and play a Thrill. I will discard Otherworldly Gaze, and Dark Blast. Otherworldly Glaze does sound delicious, though. Oh, we found a Thug. That's good. Didn't find a third thing. We draw a Dark Blast. That's not bad. And we get to chill and play a Narcomoeba out. I think next turn we Thrill unless they kind of go crazy, and then we Ox the turn after that, which will give us the most amount of Dredge. They play a Scalding Tarn and pass. No, I think we are going to still try and Thrill, so hopefully we don't draw either a Narcomoeba or a Creeping Chill. Conflagrate, that's not bad. We'll go ahead and swing with the 2 Narcomoebas. Well, looks like they're willing to counter whatever we throw out, which is fine, because they did nothing on their turn. And Counterspell. Yep. Opponent cracks a Scalding Tarn. Shock's down to 9 to do so, though. Yep, there's the Counterspell. Boy, I miss Modern when Counterspell wasn't a card. Opponent's turn. Opponent draws, untaps all their stuff. This looks like an expressive... No, it's a dashed Ragavan, so this is just some sort of Jeskai control. Sure, there's not a lot in our deck that is useful to grab. Let's see what you grab. Because even if they find Dark Blast... No, it's a Thug. Okay. Sure. You've gotten rid of a single Thug. And they play out a Darcy. Ragavan goes back to hand, goes to us. Okay. No, I think we want to Ox. Either we Ox or we can flag. I think Oxing is better. So we'll play Mana Confluence. Go red, red, Ox. Just blow up everything in our graveyard because quite literally none of it matters. Because our hand is full of dredgers. Ha 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 ha. So we dredge a whole bunch, find 2 Creeping Chills, which is great. I think we do attack with the 2 Narcomoebas, put them to 2. Because they're going to have to attack with the Dragon Rage Channeler anyway, so they're going to have to find something else to do. Ooh, we even get Silver Smoke Ghoul. Oh, nope, they've decided they're done here. Okay, so against Jeskai control, I have to assume they're going to have all sorts of hate. So we'll bring in the endings. As always, we'll get rid of 2 Black Cleave Cliffs and an Inspiring Vantage to bring in Gemstone Caverns. Thank you, Magic Online, for making this harder than it needs to be. Dark Blasts are great against Dragon Rage Channeler and Ragavan. So we take out 1 Prized Amalgam, 2 Thugs. I don't think we want to do more than that. We'll try it like that. I don't think we definitely need to Thoughtseize in this match yet, but we'll see how Game 2 goes. All right, here we are. I have to assume our opponent will choose to play first. Yep, as is tradition. Let's see. No red card, no Dredger, so this is unkeepable. Our opponent keeps 7. That's not a good sign. Let's see, our second seems much better, so we'll keep this. Get rid of one of the Cathartics. We do have to find a land with Otherworldly Gaze. Oh, they bobble. They bobble themselves. Play Scalding Tarn. Let's see if they wanted what's on top. Nope, they crack. Play Hollowed Fountain, untapped. Looks like they have, yep, SB Boy. They go ahead and draw on our upkeep. We find a Narcomoeba, which is awful. Might as well do this now. Come on, deck. Oh, dear. Well, I gotta be honest with you, folks. I didn't see it didn't have a second land. I'm a little upset with myself, but hey, let's see if we can play through the punt. Our opponent untaps, plays a Flooded Strand. There's no way they attack. Didn't think so. Okay, deck, you have to not betray us. Deck, you betrayed us. Oh, no. Okay, folks, so now I sit here, don't draw a land and lose, because I straight up didn't see that there wasn't a second land. So that's embarrassing and unfortunate, but 'tis what it is. at least now we get to see our opponent's deck a little bit more and see what they're playing, probably see what their graveyard hate is. Plays another Bobble. Bobbles himself again. See if they fetch. The good thing is we have a Cathartic Reunion, so if we find a land, even if they do counter it, we'll get our 2 Dredgers in the yard, and then we can kind of claw back. But that was a major punt, keeping a 1-lander. Don't keep 1-landers. Oh my god. We've drawn 3, count them, 3 Narcomoebas. That's all the Narcomoebas. That's so brutal. Oh, it's a Delver deck. Okay. So now we at least know a little bit more. Oh, man. Okay, so at least next turn we get to pitch Thug in our graveyard. Oh, there's the thing. Okay, so I think we lose because we've taken way too long. But at least we get to put both these in the graveyard now. No, you can absolutely draw a card. It's fine. Oh, man. We have made so many mistakes this game. Far cry from the one we won, and then we didn't record it. I swear I don't have a thing for getting humiliated, guys. I swear I'm trying to win. Yeah, it's fine. Didn't think I'd get to have that go off either. The problem is we don't have a second red source now. So this is kind of brutal, if I'm being honest, because even if we find like Ox of Agonis, it's not going to be able to go off. And we don't even have a black source to make use of our Dark Blast, which would be awesome in this scenario right now. Because it doesn't look like this Delver's going to flip. No, it didn't flip. So we're just getting punched in the face for keeping a hand we shouldn't have kept, but that's on us. Yeah, because now like nothing's going to flip. Okay, so we know they were just kind of playing 1-drop tribal. We can otherworldly gaze and try and set up our hand a little bit. No, you get to draw all the cards. Oh, they're going to counter this. Okay, I wouldn't have thought that that was that threatening, but apparently it is, so oh well. Yeah, we got nothing to do, so I'll pick up a Thug. I mean, truth be told, we're not in the worst scenario here. You know, next turn, we can Dredge just for Creeping Chills, essentially, or we can try and draw another land. If we do draw another land, we're suddenly off to the races again, because we can conflagrate their board down, we can just deal them damage to face, we could get that countered and just put all of our stuff in the graveyard. There's so much we could do. Dashing Ragavan in again. I mean, we're surprisingly in this for punting this game, you know, pretty far. Thrilling Discovery, we did not want to draw that. Another Darcy. Honestly, I think we draw. We try and Hail Mary this. I don't think we're going to win, you know, dredging that. So, okay. Well, we can't Thrilling Discovery, but we can Conflagrate. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You get to draw a card, opponent. You can only have 4 counterspells, opponent. There's no way you have another counterspell. I refuse to admit to myself that I know you have another counterspell, and you're simply waiting to see how you're going to counter this. You're making decisions. God, I hate Magic the Gathering. Okay, so they just hardcast Force of Negation. But we do have our things in the graveyard now, and now if we find an Ox, we can actually play an Ox. So we're in 1,000% better shape than we were a moment ago. We also still have Thrilling Discovery in hand, which we can't actually cast. But if we find ourselves surviving much longer... Oh, they found the Graveyard Hate finally. Well, at least we know it's enchantment-based. Or rather, artifact-based, so we can just bring in Ancient Grudge. So get rid of that. You should really get rid of our thing before we cast Dark Blast. There's Ragavan, hit us again. Opponent finds a Dark Blast, which is unfortunate. They should really get rid of our graveyard now. Nope. They're going to let us pick up Dark Blast. I suppose we pass and see what our opponent does. We're not straight up dead next turn unless they flip Delver. Okay, they flip Delver. So now we have to kill something when they attack. Oh, and they're not... Oh, I guess because they kept up a counter spell. Yeah, we Dark Blast Esper Sentinel, pay 1 for the first time. They counter this, I guess, and then they just deal damage, which is kind of weird why they didn't dash in Ragavan. So many counters. all the counters. Yeah, and that's game. So, again, we saw why you don't keep a one-lander. That is 100% on me. The good news is, for the final game, we're on the play. So get rid of the caverns, put these back in. Now that we know what they're doing, I suppose we actually do want Thoughtseize now. Prismatic endings probably aren't necessary. We could probably just do Aging Grudges. We do have to get rid of 2 cards, though. Dark Blast is amazing. Do we get rid of the final 2 Thugs? I don't think that's right. I think we get rid of 1 Narcomoeba because they're betraying us anyway. And what else do we get rid of then? 1 Silver Smoke Ghoul? Try it like that. Because really, best turn 1 play is Otherworldly Gaze, followed by one of our 2 drops, followed by Oxing Out before they either have the hate or had the ability to play the hate. But if they turn 1 Soul Guide Lantern us, you do have to play a little bit slower to try and get them to pop it, so then the next turn you can go off. But we'll see what they do. If they're just playing Soul Guide Lanterns and Luris, it's not a big deal. Now, that being said, we did take Prismatic Ending out, so if they do suddenly have a Sanctifier Envec, which I don't think they would do, seeing as how they're playing Dragon Rage Channeler, then we're screwed. We have no way of killing Sanctifier Envec. But other than me, who plays Sanctifier Envec in a burn list that, unfortunately, I just can't afford to put online, I don't think anyone else is that silly. So we'll go ahead and see what's going on here and how we do in Game 3, but I'm hopeful. All right, yes, I'd love to go first. Come on, give me a good 7. Nope, going back. 1 land. We just got our teeth kicked in because we kept one of these, so no. This is better. Our opponent is mulling as well. They're currently at... They mulled to 5, so we're going to keep this. And we'll put back City of Brass, and I actually think we put back Stinkweed Imp, as much as that hurts. Because we want our Ancient Grudge to kill things, whether it's the Esper Sentinel or it's our Graveyard Hate. It also does stuff in the graveyard, so if we have to pitch it to a Cathartic, that's fine. But now we have a turn 1 Dark Blast to kill whatever their turn 1 play is. Seems like they're just a deck of turn 1 plays. So chances are we'll get to Dredge 3 anyway. Bobble, they'll probably bobble themselves. That's been their habit. Yep, they'll see what's on top, see if they like it. Ooh, another bobble. So they just kept a hand full of bobbles. So their hand could have been anything. Could even be a really good hand. Oh, they kept a no-lander. Wow. So they're going to be real behind. They'll play Mana Confluence, Thrilling Discovery. They could have Force of Negation here. I suppose it would have been smarter to play. Okay, well, they pitch Counterspell. So Thrilling Discovery's gone. It's fine, though, because our opponent hasn't done anything yet. And they have to play a land. Oh, no. Okay, well, now we're going to see just how many. We'll play Cathartic. We'll see how many Force of Negations they kept. We'll get rid of Dark Blast and Narcomoeba. Come on, deck. Okay, we didn't exactly draw dead cards, so that's fine. We do have a Narcomoeba in play. And they're not doing anything, so... I mean, they gotta have a creature at this point. No, again, they're just gonna sit there and kind of let us go. So, upkeep... Yeah, we'll go ahead and Otherworldly. Bin. Cool. And draw. Another imp. Might have been smarter to keep that Spire Bluff, but whatever. Our opponent is doing literally nothing. We're not doing much more, but hey, next turn we get to Otherworld again. And once we find Ox, that's probably it. I have to give my opponent credit. They haven't scooped. I would have rage scooped by now. All right, so let's Otherworld. Seems like our opponent might force this. Oh, nope. Land. Can we do anything with land? Not really. So just, bin, I suppose. Yeah, bin. Try and find a red card. Black Cleave Cliffs. Well, we found a land anyway. The next turn we could just start playing out Stinkweed Imps and hitting them with those. Opponent has to go to discard. We don't have anything, so we have to draw. Another Ancient Grudge. Brutal. No, we just attack. I mean, to be fair, our opponent really is not getting too punished for doing nothing for 6 turns. We have them to 9, but we have a handful of nonsense. We haven't exactly gone off. Oh, there they go. See what they find. Now, logically, they would want to play the Graveyard Hate rather than... this could still be the Graveyard Hate. They put themselves down to 6. Darcy. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that does have Delirium. Okay. That's gonna save them for a turn. We can still Dark Blast it, though, and have something to dredge. Okay. Because they have to attack, I think we actually play out Stinky. And we don't attack, because they're going to have to attack with Dragon Rage Channeler. This will really show just how weak Dredge is, though, if we manage to lose this match where our opponent sat there and did nothing for so many turns. Okay, so they do have Soul Guide Lantern, which is fine, because we have a handful of Ancient Grudges, and we're really not losing much. Yep, I got bad news for you, opponent. I got more of those. I don't even think we block now, because they have Soul Guide Lantern. We just take it, blow up Soul Guide Lantern, and then deal 3, kill them next turn. Another Dark Blast. Well, first things first. Green thing that doesn't hurt me. Oh no, it's red, isn't it? Red. Boom. They have to pop now. Force a negation, that's weird. They left something on top, which leads me to believe it's a land. But we do get to put them to 3. So they're still in dead territory. And we have 2 Dark Blasts in hand. So unless they play another Dragon Rage Channeler, we kind of get away with this. Come on, you kept whatever was on top. So logic tells me it has to be a land. Yep, there's a land. It's a fetch, though, so that hurts. Especially when you're at 3. And our opponent scoops. Okay, double checked. We recorded that one. And that's 1 loss, 2 wins. Doing good so far. Let's see if we can go positive. All right, going on to match 4. So far positive. 1 land. I don't... We're going first. We just sit here and die if we don't find the second land. So we're going to try again because we're still at 7. Nope, this is significantly worse. This is a 4-card hand. Okay. Okay, keep. Put back... Narcomoeba. We can't actually play our otherworldly gazes, but we do have a thrilling discovery. So we pass our opponent. Oh, well, we're going to learn what they're on immediately. Goblins! We're playing against goblins. Well, now would be a time to find a Dark Blast. Cathartic. Well, discard these 2. We found the Dark Blast. Maybe a turn too late. So next turn we get to both Cathartic and Dark Blast, which is fine. I don't know how quick goblins can go. I don't think they can go faster than turn 2. What are they showing off? Mogwar Marshal, so they'll probably just play that. Yeah. We do get to kill Skirk Prospector next turn, though, so that's fine. Opponent gets in for their 1. We drop to 21, and on our upkeep, we Dark Blast, I think. So upkeep, Dark Blast. See if they have anything at instant speed worth doing. They're going to kill the Mogwar Marshal. Sure. Then we get to dredge our Dark Blast. Didn't find anything there, but we do have more lands, so we can go back to the store once more. Okay. Come on, deck. Don't do this. 2 Dark Blasts won't even be bad, and we did actually hit quite well. So even though that opening hand wasn't great, we still kind of did okay. Next turn, we Dark Blast on upkeep again, and we Ox. Because I think they need 4 mana to go off with the combo-y thing. So let's see what they do. They fetch. Apparently this is also combo. Get themselves an island from Invasion. Is this the guy who pumps and gives them haste? Oh no, okay, so this is the thing that puts their thing on top. That's the Snoop. Hellish Mons, really? Yep, they can attack, no problem. We're doing fine on life at the moment. So we want a Dark Blast and then Ox. So we have a Dark Blast in there. I guess we can wait to see what we dredge in case there's some world where we don't. Because it would put the same card in the bin. So 2 Imps. So I think what we do here first is Dark Blast. Rid of that thing. And then we Ox. Let's see. Should be quite a few things here we don't care about. So there's Oxy Boy, and hopefully we just go off so much that we don't get murdered next turn. So Imp, Imp. Do we want a Dark Blast? Well, we can't actually cast it. So I guess we Thug. One Narcomu at all of that. Would have hoped for a little bit more. But at least we get a whole bunch of dudes. Graveyard popping up as is tradition. Swing in for 1. So if they don't combo us next turn, which I don't think they will, because they found just the Mons Goblin guy. Then again, I'm not 1,000,000% sure how this combat works, so maybe I punted by not keeping a Dark Blast in my hand now to stop some sort of combo. But if they just play the Mons person, I think we're fine. Munitions expert. What do you want to kill? An Amalgam. No, that's correct. You definitely don't want to kill the Ox. Yeah, I don't think there's a Conflagrate in the yard. No, we want an Ox, so there's nothing we do on upkeep. And it looks like we pick up a Thug. We're just going for max cards now. The Creeping Chill is good to see. Ox. Red. Get rid of more cards we don't care about. Hopefully we can deal them enough damage here. So Imp. 7 cards left in our deck. Guess we kind of need the Dark Blast now, in case we need to pick something off. No Conflagrate, which is unfortunate, because I feel like that would do us a whole bunch right now. So they can block the 2 things on the ground, no problem. They can't block the things in the air, though, so I think we just swing as is. A whole bunch of our stuff coming back from the graveyard, as seen here. So they combo us next turn, or we get them, I think. Oh, nope, they scooped. Alright, this is another one of those decks where I'm going to off-screen take a look at goblins, kind of see what they do. Leyline of the Void, you say? That's actually a major problem. So we definitely want prismatic endings. They can win with Sling Gang, so I guess we want Leyline of Sanctities. Definitely want the lands. That's real easy to do. The thing is now, the endings, because if they put down a Leyline, we need to be able to make it go away. The question is the Thought Seizes. Dark Blasts are great. Thugs are kind of only meh. Take the Thugs out. Leyline doesn't just stop them from winning, but it does make it slightly harder. They got one Ghoul, maybe? The thing is, I'm looking at those Thought Seizes. I'm looking at those Thought Seizes and wondering if that's enough to knock them off their kind of edge right now. I can't think of anything to cut. We have a game to lose, so let's try this and see how it goes. We're going to go Greed. We're going to keep this, because we get to play the Gemstone thing, pitch Creeping Chill, and we get to turn 0 Otherworldly Gaze, and hopefully that finds us something to dredge. Aether Vial, in response, will Otherworldly. No, but we found plenty of things to pitch. Can't do anything on upkeep at the moment. Found another Thrilling Discovery. Well, we have plenty of Thrilling Discoveries, so I think we actually Otherworldly Gaze. Okay, so we found the Dredger, which is good, which means next turn our things like Thrills and all that can kind of go off, and hopefully we can go off before our opponent does. Next turn, hopefully we're filling the graveyard, and the turn after that, hopefully we're winning. I don't think goblins can win that fast. I know they can win fast, though. They're Mog. Mog's fine. Upkeep, nothing to do in our upkeep. We get the Dredge, Dark Blast. Not quite enough cards in our bin, though, to Ox, so we'll go ahead and Thrill. Yep, we'll get rid of Cathartic and Dark Blast. Imp. Oof. Dark Blast. Imp. Okay, a little thing's going on here. Looks like we'll get a Prized Amalgam 2. And there's a Conflagrate in the yard, so that gives us something cool to do next turn. And in the meantime, we'll go ahead and swing in. Alright, I doubt they'll pay the Echo cost. They'll probably just let it go. We have a Dark Blast in hand, though, so we can pick something off if need be. Yeah, didn't think so. Opponent has a Mire. Doubt they'll shock themselves, but that would be great. No, they just find that rather fetching mountain. What's this? Goblin Matron. That's not good at all. What do they find? Goblin Chieftain. They're just going beatdown? Interesting. What are they putting out? Oh, if this is... Oh, no, it's just goblins. What does this say? Goblins you control. So we can't save it anyway, so that dies. I'll take 1 damage on my own terms. Didn't really find anything. I suppose we can go for this now, then. Stinkweed Imp. What have we found so far? We found nothing so far. We have 15 cards left in the deck. There's still 2 Creeping Chills and 1 more Narcomoeba. There's an Ox. Yeah, I think we go the Imp. Found another Narcomoeba, which is good. That brings these guys back. Oh god, go away. Back with these 2 in the air. Only 10 cards left. So next turn we get to Conflagrate for 5. We might not have it perfectly, but we'll be able to deal a pretty decent amount. If they don't just they can just combo off. Because, like, I suppose they could get put the Snoop out and then just violin the other thing. Unclaimed Territory, see that in Modern while you still can. Goblin Ringleader, that's not good. So much value. Value out of our opponent. Found the Sling-Game Lieutenant. That's really bad. Uh-oh. They hit us for a lot. That's 6. They hit us for 11, which is fine. Oh, you should be really going all in, because I'm gonna wrath your board. I think I'm gonna wrath most of it. Okay. I cannot tell you how useful Creeping Chills would be right now. Narcomoeba. Okay. So, there's 2 Creeping Chills in the deck. We're dealing 3 over the top. If I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they're only left with 1 Goblin in play, and then we deal 3, 6, 9. We can deal 10 if we just let their untapped people stay, because they just have to sacrifice goblins, and they kind of drain and sling us. I think they go off next turn. I don't think we have a way to outright kill them, because say we Ox instead, they block these 2 guys, it's the same amount of damage. So I think what we have to do is Conflagrate. So 2 there, 1 there. No, that has to be 2, 1 there. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. And this deals more damage right now. So that all goes away, and we get to chunk them, but they can just combo us next turn, because they have the Sling Gang. So either they combo us, or we win. Looks like they're doing math. I give us, like, probably 70% odds we're dead, because we know they have Bogart and Sling Gang Lieutenant, so I think they can set it up. Yeah, there's the Snoop. And now they put Sling Gang into play? Yeah. They're down 1 mana, though. Okay, let's do some math. So they can deal us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And they can block all 3 of those. So we need to find the Cathartic Reunion. So we have 7, which means, oof, we might have screwed ourselves. So I think we Otherworldly Gaze, and then we grab a Dark Blast. There's the Creeping Chill. That back on top. They have to do stuff now. That's removing a couple of blockers from the field. Removing 1 blocker from the field. So we pick up Dark Blast. We Dark Blast now. Get rid of that guy. So they have to do all their life gaining now. And that's the game. And that kind of win takes a lot of knowledge of your deck, what's still in your deck. But yeah, we won that one by the skin of our teeth. But look, we're 3-1. We can go 4-1. If we go 4-1, that's probably the best we'll do in one of these videos. So hip hip hooray. We did it. I even got a couple of the wins on film. I didn't just pitch all of the footage into the ether. But yeah, we'll go ahead and go for game 5, and we'll see if we can do a 4-1. But this is the first time we're going positive in one of these videos, and I gotta say, it feels amazing. So yeah, catch you for the last one. All right. We did not win the die roll. Shahar did. No red card and a Narcomoeba, so we can go ahead and pitch this back into the ether. No lands, we can pitch this back into the ether. Mulda 4? Question mark? I mean, this doesn't do anything either, so... Okay. So we put that back. We have to keep the 2 lands. We have to keep a Dredger. So I think we keep it like this. Our opponent showed the Prey Piercer, so this is that super quick deck, which probably meant we should have kept Dark Blast, but hey, I'm not good at this game. Look, I'm burned. I'm totally burned. Just I'm burned. Don't worry about it. Prowess, I'm burned. Rawr, I'm gonna burn you. You should be so scared. So scary. Alright, opponent plays an Arid Mesa. Cracks it. Plays a mountain. Ooh, Ragavan. I am getting punished left and right here. Is this like an Aspiring Spike deck or something? Mana Confluence. Well, out of the bag. That goes back to their hand. Hopefully we can still steal game one. We're a little behind the 8-ball right now. We had to mold a 4. But honestly, Dredge is one of the few decks where you can mold a 4 and feel fantastic. Hey. So what do we draw? Hopefully a Dredger. Please don't be a free card. Ooh, a Dark Blast. I still think we do this, though, because we're so behind. We can't, like, sit here and try and 1-for-1 them. So Thrilling Discovery. No, you get to draw a card, which is unfortunate, but the deal we make. Gain 2 life back and start discarding some stuff. Stinkweed Imp. Oh no. Dark Blast? Oh no. Please don't draw a free spell. God! Poopy. So we do get him for 3, but then we drew a Creeping Chill because there is no justice in the world. We do have a Dark Blast, though. I think next turn we just go off with Cathartic, though. We just let them keep hitting us, and we try and just really go off. They're going to dash in Ragavan again, which is fine. If all they're doing is dashing in Ragavans and hitting us for 3, that's not a terribly scary thing that they're doing. Yep, you got a Thug. Want to cast him? Didn't think so. Opponent plays a Marsh Flats, cuts himself down to 15. They're playing a lot of basics, so I'm expecting a Blood Moon. Yeah, but here's the thing, guys. We already played our colored spell, so now we just get to do this. We just get to do this every turn? That doesn't seem unfortunate. That actually seems great. So please find more Dredgers. No, oh, no, they found the Thug. Good. Yep, we're getting 2 of those boys. And I can see at least 1 Silver Smoke Ghoul in the graveyard. I think there's only 1. We'll see when we go to our end step. Yeah, playing Blood Moon against Dredge, in the green versions of the deck, it was actually pretty good. But against this version of the deck, we just don't care. In fact, he kind of helped us, because now our Gemstone Mine doesn't die. Alright, they do have a lot of mana, though. Ranger Captain, what do they go get? Spur Sentinel. They just play out Ragavan? Sure. Cool. And we'll pick up a Thug. I think we go Winging, and then we play Oxyboy. Because we have multiple Oxen in the yard. But I actually think our opponent's Blood Moon saved us. Because, yeah, our thing would be dead. But right now it's not dead. So we're not going to play any of these. We don't even need Otherworldly Gaze anymore. We have no blue mana. Cool. Ox. Discard our hand. And start picking things back up. Imp. Thug. Cool. Please go away. Get some more creatures, which is nice. You can have as many Esper Sentinels as you want now, because we literally are not going to cast a single non-creature spell. We're just going to keep casting Oxenwind. If you even want to keep playing. Oh my god. Check that out, folks. Isn't that special? And our opponent skips it up upon seeing that. Sometimes it's good to be Dredge. Okay. Against, like, Blood Moony nonsense. So just a generic Ragavan deck. I have to imagine they have Sanctifier. So we'll bring in... Actually, no, because they have Ubosh, so everything has to be odd, right? So they don't have Sanctifier. They probably have some sort of artifact. So Ancient Grudges. Plus I can kill good old what's-his-face. I think, again, we just cut some Thugs. You know, dredging Dark Blasts against a deck that has so many creatures that are of 1 toughness seems amazing. Let's see what we do here. Alright. No, not keepable. No Dredger. Nah, I think we gotta go back. Mold a 4 or keep this and try real hard? I think we mold a 4. Oh, no. Okay. So we just have to start putting things to the bottom here, kind of willy-nilly. We'll go ahead and play out Gemstone Caverns, pitching the Thrilling Discovery. And we hope our 2 Otherworldly Gazes can save us, because otherwise we're screwed. Ragavan. Oh, Relic. And Otherworldly Gaze, which we should have done on their end step, but we screwed up. Dark Blast, Otherworldly Gaze, keep this on top. We'll see if our opponent exiles something in our upkeep. That's fine. Get rid of the Gaze, because we want to draw the land anyway. No, Brian! Oh my god, I'm just so used to clicking that. Booger. Okay, we might not be screwed here. Oh no, Brian, why would you do that? Alright, I'm gonna feel real bad if they kept one land and we did that. Nope, okay, so I don't feel that bad now. Opponent, if you let us up tap at all. Magic Online, I'm so upset with you for doing that, but I don't know how upset I can be. Okay, so we do this now. We have another Otherworldly Gaze in our hand. We can rebuild. I really wish we had a second land, though, because that would be infinitely better than what we have going on now. All right, let's see what they play. Another Relic. Brutality. And an Evoked Fury. Oh, they must have some sort of blinky shenanigan going on. Yeah, Ephemerate. Okay. So the amount of punts we've done this game are particularly impressive. We'll go ahead and Otherworldly, because that's going to be the same as Dark Blasting. Fascinating. So we've been Cathartic, put Thrilling on top, put Gemstone on top. So unless something goes really wrong, we can Thrilling next turn. And we kind of want them to pop that Relic anyway. So, you know, is what it is. Yep, opponent keeps exiling things from our graveyard, which is fine. This is for 6, which is not a small amount. There's that Thrill we knew about. So white and red. Thrilling Discovery thing. Okay, we're gonna lose all of our stuff anyway. So I say we just pick up Dark Blast. Opponent untaps, starts immediately tapping mana. Seasoned Pyromancer. Okay. I mean, it was a mull to 4, folks. I know I didn't help myself, but mull to 4 can only go so well. We get nugged for another 6, which I believe puts us dead next turn. Yeah, we just draw the Stinkweed Imp. Unfortunately, there's triggers on the stack, so now our opponent gets to crack Relic in response to the triggers on the stack, so we don't get to Ox. Yeah, you should really crack Relic, opponent. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, so that is game. Going on to our final game of this session. We're currently ahead. We're fighting for a 4-1, which is fine. But I don't feel that bad. So we were right. It's just Relics of Progenitai. Go ahead and take these lands out. I don't think there's a lot more we can do. Like, we could bring in Prismatic Endings to try and nip more things, but we make the deck weaker every time we do that. So I think we just kind of leave it as is and hope for a better opening 7. All right, let's see what our opening 7 is. Nope, 1 land, no red card. Try that again. See what our opponent's doing as well. They also mulligan to 6. We have a red card. We don't have any dredgers, so let's try again. Ay. So, we're going to keep this because I don't want to mull to 4 again and just lose based on a mull to 4. But we really are hoping that Otherworldly Gaze does quite some work here. So we'll play Mana Confluence and we'll yield through the turn, because they might play a creature we can Dark Blast. Our opponent mulled to 6 and kept. I don't know if they're aggressively mulling to Graveyard Hate. I guess we'll find out now. Boy. Yeah, we don't want to draw those 2. We want our Gemstone Mine. I think we actually have to let Silver Smoke go. I think we need Otherworldly to try and get out of this. Okay. So they're tapped down. If we go nuts off of this Thrilling, we could actually get ahead of them before their Graveyard Hate can do anything. So I believe the term is Heart of the Cards. Okay. Discard these 2 and hope in our top 7 we find another Dredger, so that's 4. No, we didn't find anything. Oh, no. Okay, so we drew an Ancient Grudge, though. So that's not bad. So next turn, they can choose to pop Relic. Because, like, yeah, we can Ox, and we can, like, absolutely lose Ancient Grudge, though. I guess we get to draw and see what they do. Well, they're not playing anything, so they're waiting on us. Let's get rid of whatever. We get to draw. Prized Amalgam. Not great. I think we actually just force this to happen now. They have to crack now. Yeah. That leaves an Ancient Grudge in the bin. So we've lost one Ox, but we have Dark Blast in hand. So whatever they play, we can kind of start pinging. Oh no, they put Ubosh in hand. Spire Bluff Canal. That does mean we get to play Prized Amalgam. So blue, black. Who cares? Look, I played a 3/3 for 3. So now they have to start doing stuff because I have something on the field. So you have to play something, opponent. Honestly, our best draw would be another red card, another Cathartic, or another Thrilling. Oh no! They have the thing where they get to flash our... Yeah, Memorit. That's not good. That's the opposite of good. So there goes that. Fury might get us. We do... Oh no, and they have another Relic. So we do get to pop a Relic on our upkeep. I think we have to do that. So pop Relic, that's fine. Hopefully we draw a Black Source? Hey, okay. Yeah, I think we just pass. And we have to Dark Blast them. Fury is big and annoying, though. Man, those Elementals plus Flicker effects are very powerful. Just gonna play a Den of the Bugbear, eh? So... we lose 1 life to gain 2. We also have a Dredger now. We need to find some good stuff. We did not find good stuff. So, I think we have to play out this, even though it's super suboptimal. And we yield through the turn. Yep, that's the thing. I don't see how we get out of this. I think we got a little screwed here. But, you know, we can Dark Blast the Fury. Then we can block Den of the Bugbear. Oh no, that's still lethal, isn't it? I did that wrong. Oh well, would I have done anything differently? Oh no, just close the game immediately so we can't even tell. Can I go back to the... Nope, it just closed the match. Well, I wanted to see what we were going to draw, but hey, we went positive for the first time ever in one of these, which is great. So we got our points back, which is neat. We got a qualifier point. Don't even know what those are used for. And we have 1 treasure chest, which we're absolutely going to open. So let's go ahead and pop over to our little thing here and see what we open. 5 play points. I played so much Eldraine, and I have no idea what this is. Silverwing Squadron? Okay. Limited All-Star Silverwing Squadron. And a Siphon Sliver. So nothing here worth anything. And 5 more play points. But hey, our next league is free, which means we can now play something really dumb. But yeah, let's go ahead and go to the wrap-up. Hi everyone, my name's Brian, and what you see before you here is the modern meta. So why am I starting with this as opposed to the deck I'm playing today? That's because I'm going over a deck today that really kind of sneaks up on the meta. It can never really become tier 1 or tier 0, or really more than tier 2, because it's so easily hated out of the format. And that, of course, is Modern Dredge. But before I decide to ever take Modern Dredge through a league or even play it in any sort of tournament where there are prizes on the line, you want to stop and see who are the big dogs in Modern. The more graveyard decks that there are just kind of floating around, the more hate that there's going to be for your deck. And Dredge is really all in on the graveyard plan. Now, with Death Shadow sitting at, in my opinion, a problematic 11% of the meta, chances are people are going to have a little bit of graveyard hate, but not quite in the Hogak days. So, now that we know that the meta might just let us sneak through a few wins in Modern, what are we looking at for the deck? Well, here is my Dredge deck. You guys might be familiar with it if you saw my first video on it. But just to kind of go over, this is actually a pretty stock Dredge list. There are other Dredge lists floating around, and stay tuned for after Kamigawa comes out when Beseju's up and around, but this is the one that I have found the most success with as of late. Probably because it's pretty glass cannon-y and it's really, really fast. So, not too much to go over. 18 lands, no basics. 8 1-drops, 4 Otherworldly Gaze, 4 Dark Blasts, 4 Narcomoebas, 4 Golgari Thugs, 4 Cathartic Reunion, 4 Thrilling Discoveries. 3 Silver Smoke Ghoul, 4 Stinkweed Imp, 4 Prized Amalgam, 4 Creeping Chill, 2 Ox of Agonis, and 1 Conflagrate. And to kind of give you a really quick deck tech on it, what we're trying to do here is get these cards which dredge in the graveyard. We never really want to cast any of these cards, and all they say is, rather than draw a card at the beginning of our draw step, we can take one of these cards with dredge, put it into our hand, and take the number of cards after the words dredge on the card and just flip them over right into the graveyard. That allows us to get Narcomoebas immediately into play, which trigger Prized Amalgam because they went from the graveyard to the battlefield. That allows us to get Creeping Chills, which deal 3 damage to our opponent, and we gain 3 life, thus getting Silver Smoke Ghouls into play from the graveyard, again triggering Prized Amalgam. And finally, this deck is really just shoving as much as it humanly can into the bin to try and use Ox of Agonis to do it over and over again and just beat your opponent down, with 1 Conflagrate in there to either wrap the board or deal just the final few bit of damage in on your opponent. Otherworldly Gaze, replacing things like Shriekhorn and Merchant of something. Is it Merchant of the Veil? I don't think it is. Anyway, but it allows you to take a peek at the top of your library and even keep some one-landers. Normally with Dredge, you don't want to keep one-landers, but with Otherworldly Gaze, you can kind of get away with it. Again, very stock list. 8 red cards that allow you to pitch things into the graveyard and draw immediately, which is what Ox of Agonis does as well. And again, we're just going to throw everything into the graveyard, try and pull everything out of the graveyard, and kill our opponents with it. That does mean we need no graveyard hate. Speaking of hate and things like that, let's go ahead and look at the sideboard. So here's really where you see different people's opinion of Dredge at this exact moment. Again, when Kamigawa comes out, I know we're going to see a little bit more variety in the Dredge decks. But for right now, 2 Ley Lines of Sanctity to stop people from picking apart your hand with hate, as well as just telling Belcher to go away, or even stopping burn enough so that you can kill it. 2 Ley Line of the Voids. I go with 2, some people go with 1. I feel like having 1 ley line is a fancy way of saying you're not going to get ley line, but having 2 gives you some chance of getting it if you go up against something that's also doing graveyard shenanigans and you need their graveyard to go away. More so against combo things as opposed to just general value decks. You don't want to bring this in against Jund. It doesn't really stop Tarmogoyf. 3 Prismatic Endings, which are taking the place of the former 3 and or 4 Nature's Claims. These can get rid of things that have pro-black and pro-red, i.e., Sanctifier Envect, 2 Thought Seizes to go up against combo and or control, just get things out of their hand, 3 Ancient Grudge to take care of artifacts, both hate pieces and non-hate pieces, and finally 3 Gemstone Caverns, so that when you go game 2, you can hopefully play one of these red cards turn 1, or even play an Otherworldly Gaze turn 0. I have gotten to do that a few times. It does seem good, but again, it's a lot of luck. And truth be told, this deck here involves a lot of luck, but it also involves the meta to not really be playing a ton of graveyard hate. So every now and then I vibe check Modern and see if anyone is playing graveyard hate. So let's go ahead and hop into a league and see if playing Dredge is just taking 10 ticks at a time and feeding it into a shredder, or if it's a sneaky way to pick up a few wins and have some fun. Let's see what happens.